We found a way to bring life to brands in an organic way that creates unique experiences. I'm Torrie Savage, co-founder of The Savage Way, artist, entrepreneur, creative director, marketing leader, and advocate of the arts. I was pressure washing my dad's back sidewalk, and I wrote the name Savage and started drawing flowers. And in that moment, I had this idea that this could be an advertisement. My dad was, of course, like watching me pressure wash the sidewalk, and he was like, well, you need a stencil. And of course, I thought, well, yeah, we could clean it up later. But I had this moment of thinking, this could be a thing. And from there, of course, I went and Googled pressure washing sidewalks ads, and I found a man in Europe named Moose who was doing this as an art form on the side of bridges. But I really thought I was onto something, thinking at the time I was a media buyer and buying tons of media for other clients. And I thought this could be something that we could sell. So I brought it back to my agency, and they kind of laughed at me and said, this is too guerrilla. Who's going to do this? And there's too many, details to figure out about it. But I always kept this clean graffiti idea. And about 2-3 years later, when I started my own company, The Savage Way, I brought the idea up to my business partner and thought, we should be doing this. At the time, we were doing a lot of branding and social media consulting and event planning. And this idea has just still, like I said, been in my back pocket. So I told Paula, my business partner, she was like, what are we doing? Let's do this clean graffiti thing. And one of our friends said, you need to talk to a guy named Blair Primus. I bet you he would love this idea. And so we did. We pitched it to Blair, and it was with Ortho Carolina and the Panthers was our first client to do this. And once we pitched it, he said, I want it now. And we said, well, we'll just wait. We have to figure out how to sell this. How many spots? What is the stencil made of? So it was so much fun bringing this new medium to life. And once we did, it was one client after another wanting this extra piece of their marketing pie. Once a brand kind of got stale with okay, we did billboards, we did a magazine ad, we did, our social ads, where else can we do it? And this was that extra marketing piece. And slowly we started doing this in different cities. To date, it's been 80 cities across America. And it's wild. I mean, we're literally using high pressure water and a stencil. A clean message on a dirty sidewalk is what we say. And I like to say it's guerrilla marketing at its finest. Okay, so The Savage Way started as a marketing agency, social media agency, whatever, and the clean graffiti crept in, right? So that was this advertising outlet we were offering, but we still did branding and social media consulting. So in this first year or so of starting the clean graffiti, one of our branding clients came to us and said, I want my logo in moss. And I immediately said, no, why would we do that? And he was a friend and kind of pushed us and said, but I'm an eco-friendly company. I want this in my lobby. I think you could make it. So Paula and I, of course, were always willing to try something new. We created his logo out of moss and loved it. And it was this birth of having advertising again meet arts, because with the clean graffiti, we were doing that as well, designing stencils and bringing the ads to the sidewalks. And now it was okay, let's make logos with moss and bringing this outside element inside, and all of our moss is preserved, so it means no maintenance. So it was this plant aspect that brought life to your logo, literally. And that was 10 years ago, and now we have 8 artists that are creating art for us, and we do everything from logos, words, shapes, walls, full panels, and it's a way, again, to bring the outdoor inside with zero maintenance. There was a moment in time that we were doing consulting, clean graffiti, and moss art. And this moment came about that Paul and I had heard some seminar about just really doing what you love and giving, making space for more of what you love. And in that moment, it was that we didn't love so much the consulting anymore, and we loved clean graffiti and moss art. So we took this really big leap of faith and broke up with all of our marketing and consulting clients. And in that moment, it was okay, we're going to create this space to attract these clients that we want with moss art and clean graffiti. And looking back, I'm like, we were crazy because we had no money and we needed those clients, but we thought we want to create this space for the clients we love, and we want to create this art, and we want to, create these experiences with clean graffiti and interacting with brands. And so that was this big leap that we took, and that thank God we did, because now it's amazing. So fast forward 10 years, we are a full staff of women providing a space for artists now to come create some of our things that we've dreamt up with designing stencils, designing moss art. And it has been, I think, more of our why has shifted. Like, our why in the beginning was, let's do something different. Let's create something the world hasn't seen. And we were really fed by the innovativeness of the two things we offered. But now our why is more that we're creating a space for artists and also offering this artistic advertising experience. We're working with the Savage Way, but having artists on staff that can help us even do this even more has been such a joy and a part of our why that is keeping us going, for sure. When clients come to us for clean graffiti in particular, a lot of them say, I want to get my logo on the ground. And as much as I love branding and I love people's logos, it's always this discussion to talk about the sidewalk. And where we're putting this. This isn't a billboard. This isn't a magazine ad. It's not something on my table that I'm flipping through. We are in the public realm, in a space that I have to kind of teach people how we're going to respect this space and not just slap a logo down. We see 20,000 logos all day long, all the time. So putting a logo on the sidewalk is going to be like, a logo on the sidewalk. So I kind of tell people, like, we love your logo, but no one really gives a shit about it. Let's talk to people about, what can inspire them, what can be creative, how can you be witty, funny, and memorable, and talk to your client and consumers and not at them. Like, none of us want to be sold at. We're sold at all day long. So I really try to talk clients about what is something that goes along with your brand? What are you doing with your brand and your product that might resonate with your consumer, right? So what message can we put down on the ground that makes me think or makes me have an emotion, brought to you by XYZ? Like, I always talk to people about, what's your social media look like? So then they can go and hit your handle, type it in their phone really quick, and then see more about your brand, and they'll see your logo there, right? So it's really this process of telling people, like, we love your logo, but it's not going to go on the ground. Now with moss art, it's kind of a different story, because people come to us and want their logo for their lobby, right? And there it does play a little bit bigger of a part. You want to walk into a space and you know where you are, but you want that brand recognition to seep in like a little bit more, right? So now, instead of just putting signage on the wall, we're inserting nature with your brand. And nature, that's where this whole biophilic design aspect comes in, that evokes another calming feeling. So we found this way of, like, nature outside with removing dirt from the sidewalk with clean graffiti, to the nature inside, we're like mixing your brand in on the wall with greenery. So it's become this nice marriage of, how are we taking logos and mixing arts and advertising? And when we say that, sometimes people are like, arts and advertising? But that's it. We really are taking arts and advertising and making a baby. We have tons of ways to get in touch with us, but it's all really just typing in any portal, The Savage Way. And on Instagram, we show a lot of our processes with both clean graffiti and moss art, and it's so cool to watch it come to life. Our website, thesavageway.com, we show both clean graffiti and moss art, and we do have an online shop for moss art. If you're not looking for something custom, we do have some pre-made items. And follow us at The Savage Way.